Yo, 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 Big Kish back up in here. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. He about to drop some new information. How this new leaked information will destroy Drake's life forever. Check this out. Before we get into that, y'all make sure y'all pick y'all up a copy of Street Dad, Geek Dad, Avoiding Manufacturing Mindset, written by me, Big Kish. The link will be in the description for purchase alongside the Discord and some merch if you're interested. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Now, when it comes to Drake and Kendrick Lamar, well, if you are ready to see the biggest fraud, fake, phony, and liar in hip-hop have more of that truth come out that he has tried to lie about for so long, make sure to leave a like and subscribe before we go any further, because with the latest news that is coming out all around the streaming numbers and authenticity of Drake's entire musical catalog, well, it is not looking good for him. And if you thought that things have been bad already, well, from Kendrick Lamar's success only getting further verified to be authentic to Drake getting more artificial, leave a like and subscribe so everybody can see how lame old Lawbery is just falling apart in every sense of the word. And now with that said, well, right now with the guy who has the fakest abs in the game, really with the entire fan base behind this crash out, the one thing and angle that they have never turned on for some reason is this idea and concept that Kendrick Lamar has been faking his streaming numbers and that everything he has is pretty much made up in terms of his numerical success, which again has really resulted in some of the worst takes and failed gotcha moments that show how bad the comprehension of the OVO community is. So just when you see them trying to compare Kendrick,
they did an audit to see whoever is using any type of bots or any push for their streams and all of that, man, look, a lot of people done failed, man. Kendrick Lamar standed the test of the times, if you will. He stood all of it. Ain't none of his stuff move, man. That mean to look, that mean to show you. What that's showing you is that all of that influence is real. He didn't fake his influence like everybody else.
Kendrick's monthly listener count from after the Super Bowl to now, and question why his monthly listeners dropped off from over 110 million people to being now in the 80 million range. Like the boost and drop off from all of the new listeners that tuned into the biggest broadcast of the year in the Super Bowl does not correlate and make sense with these numbers in general. But now beyond stuff like this and all of the attempts over and over again, which are just straight up random and made up, because despite all of the wipes that Spotify and platforms have done to try and remove fake streams and make sure that the numbers that everybody has is authentic, which again all of these platforms have collectively been doing more and more of, and especially Spotify. Within all of this and with all of the artists who have been taken down, Kendrick's numbers have not been changed once, and now with the most recent occurrence of this,
bruh, all his stuff is real, bro. Now, why don't academics and them cover this? Why they don't cover stuff like this?
you're probably not surprised if you're here, but Kendrick's numbers have continued to stay unchanged and unfazed as they stand as a sentiment to the fact that Kendrick has built one of the most authentic crops of superstardom that you could ever have. And when you see that Kendrick is doing stadiums the way he is on tour, again, he just started the Europe phase of the Grand National Tour, and he rocks one of the biggest stadiums out there in Cologne, Germany. Well, honestly, once again, when you have this moment where you compare reality with these weird narratives and failed gotcha moments, it is pretty funny that Drake fans are delusional enough that they are really trying to say with a straight face that Kendrick Lamar and his numbers are all backed by fake stats and nothing else, because with where Kendrick Lamar is at with the run he is on, you literally don't get to this high of a level without having one of the biggest imprints an artist has had on music in literally decades. And so now, while Kendrick Lamar has once again had no issues with streaming in his catalog, and of course the hits like Not Like Us and Luther remain unchanged, and so does everything else, because just as Kendrick has told all of these losers over and over again, you can try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Well, now, while Kendrick is good, speaking of rigging the game and faking influence as much as you possibly can, I mean, you're not surprised.
They rigging the game, man. Drake is used to the game being rigged. He's used to his songs being rigged. This is why they kept forcing his songs up on us, man. You could try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
This brings us to Lamo Lawbery and everything that he has going on in this time, because seemingly in the most recent change and wipe of Spotify's numbers, well, in the hip-hop lane, which usually these things don't tend to affect hip-hop itself, 3 big names in rap were all checked and are all losing streaming numbers, and these names were none other than Nicki Minaj, Kanye, and Drake. And now with all three of these artists, well, this entire situation is shocking. And even when you see somebody like Kanye, who has had no industry support for a while, ever since he has fumbled his career like few ever have. To be honest, when you see that he's faking numbers, you wonder what is going on with him and his catalog and what impression they are trying to give off about him. But bigger than that, and what is going to have the most consequences on this entire thing in general because of where we are at in the industry, is of course the removal of streams that are seemingly coming from Drake. And now first off, with this being seen from early data and checks of what has been removed, it's funny enough because once again, the supporters of Aubrey are moving like that other red hat wearing fan base of people who can't accept any sort of reality or accountability, and who as a result consistently just deflect and say that their rival is the one who is losing all of the things that they are losing. And of course that is not true, and it's just a sad and pathetic deflection of what they are trying to do to move away from reality after getting humiliated the way they are more and more in this very moment. And now I say all of that to say, when you snap out of reality, take the hat off and look at what all of these people are going to have to face whether they like it or not, what you'll see is that with Drake's streams being checked and questioned and seeing that things are not the way they should be. Well, as funny as it is to see Drake's legitimacy
snap back to reality, oh, there goes Champagne Pissy,
be under question, and once again see how the numbers that he hid behind have even been fake, because that was the last thing he was holding on to try to keep any sort of his ego intact. Well, in the greater sense, and with everything going on in the Not Like Us suit especially, well, for Drake, this is where your actions really come back to haunt you and where your choices really will make you regret things. Because as Drake and his team are whining in rooms and are trying to claim that at least 10% of Not Like Us' success came from fake streams, and that could even be a higher number due to the impact of the fake listeners, which they are claiming made real ones want to listen to the songs more and more, because in this own delusional thing that they are trying to do, the entire Drake case is resting on this principle that it wasn't the people who were watching the most eye-catching back and forth in rap ever to make this song go big, and it was the streaming numbers that were fake. Well, with this, in this time where they are claiming this about Kendrick, and yet Not Like Us and his catalog remain untouched, and yet now Drake is the one who may be losing so many of his streams very soon, according to what they detected. Well, once again, that lame old curtain that has been hiding Drake and all of the tricks that he has used in the industry to really just grift every single person are coming out more than ever. And when we see Drake's strange history entirely, a lot of all of the things with his relationship with the streaming platforms, which ranges from forcing his music everywhere to playing Drake's songs so much that they have stayed on the charts in a lot of cases just from features like autoplay. And we are seeing this as a result right now with Apple Music especially, because as they are releasing their top 500 most streamed songs of all time, and we look at the charts to this day, when you see a song like For Free still getting a lot of streams, for example, to be as high as it is, if you use the platform, you know this, it is simply because of a feature like autoplay, which just keeps running these Drake tracks up over and over again for no reason. Well, overall now, with these streamers all being checked up on more and the platforms being broken down to analyze the numbers and really go deeper about the legitimacy of everything, what it seems like is happening now is not that Drake is faking streams in the same way that we are seeing with new artists, and especially within a genre like K-pop, which is the biggest offender of these entire problems. Pretty much what they do there is just fake streams and create the impression that somebody is popular. Also, that within the culture of the genre, you could actually gain momentum, which is pretty much just like the music version of fake it till you make it. Well, of course, what Drake
K-pop, that's some new stuff right there.
Drake is doing is not anything like that, but instead, with the star that Drake has always been and the pedestal that he was put on around the turn of the streaming industry, because you could really see how much he could churn out trendy slop ever since the start of these platforms' full-on prominence, which really started around views. Well, since then, and really that turning point, which has seen Drake just sell out more and more for weird trends. What it seems like now is that as Drake was complacent enough to release so much music frequently and just to do about pretty much any sort of thing in the most versatile grift we have ever seen, ultimately the farms and fake tricks of the industry used.
He was forcing himself upon us, man. I'm telling you, pause. Everybody was complaining. Why is Drake on my playlist? Why Drake? Why he keep showing up? They was monopolizing off Drake dropping consistently. Drop, 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 drop. No pun intended at all. This was his formula, y'all. Let's just force Drake onto the peak. You just keep forcing it. But yeah, man, these songs done knocked him out the box, bro. Hip hop is back, man.
Drake's music to create the impression that he had a sort of musical dynasty that always seems so much stronger than ever was, clearly. Because obviously now, as we are seeing the numbers come down and Drake and even other artists lose streams as well, somehow now the truth that we are facing is that the guys who they told us were the biggest stars and who had the biggest songs, their music were the ones who were faking the pinnacle of popularity that we are seeing, which you tell me, just seems very strange and telling of the fact that for about a decade now at the very least, but maybe even longer, the stuff going on behind the scenes with Drake, OVO, and everything around them has genuinely been some terrible and super off-putting things that have probably made the playing field uneven in music for so long. And just to see the Drake fans go up right now as they are realizing this and they are spiraling out more than ever, it's both off-putting in terms of how much you can control and manipulate a group of people, but it's honestly hilarious in a way because as the entire Drake case is getting to this really ugly point, and it's clear that we are heading to a section of this suit where we are going to find out a lot more about everything, both with Not Like Us, because Drake keeps trying to dig into that. But ultimately, as a result, they are going to find out about Drake's artistry and specifically how he has kept the machine running that we have all seen for years. Well, to be honest, I do think that the labels and streaming platforms even know that the end of the Drake grift is coming up, and they are preparing for that. So now, whether maybe it was UMG themselves who made sure to get these numbers checked or did something wrong to make the system detect what's happening with Drake's catalog and how faked it may be, or the platforms are just getting tired of Drake making demands that Prime MJ or the Beatles would never get. Well, I think Drake has just made way too many enemies, and at that with the most powerful...
He really think he like Michael Jackson. Like, bro, you ain't put in enough work, bro. You haven't even put in enough authentic work, like being yourself. Michael Jackson's that's him. Him dancing, him singing, him perfecting song, that's him. You didn't do that, bro. You don't even know how to dance. You don't even know how to dance, B.
People in the entire industry. And again, this is not because he is this cool hero who is standing up for all artists. It's because he is this annoying dweeb who does not understand what his own stuff is worth. And maybe everyone here is to blame when you honestly consider everything. Because for the fact that these platforms and labels have let Drake think that tracks like Girls Want Girls, Slime You Out, and so many other bad songs slide and do numbers, they created this delusion for Drake where you can say that he thinks bad is good. And as a result, this is why we are here today, where Drake is just doing the worst things. But now, as Spotify is trying to confirm these issues with the system and then wipe away the fake streams for good, it's going to be very funny to see how far they go with this. And truly, if the streamers and systems actually crack down on Drake and show that the guy who thinks he ran the game for 15 years was virtually just running a glorified streaming farm this whole time, the music industry is truly about to be shocked. And really, if even half of this is true, more than ever, Drake and everybody is going to look like a grifter, while at the same time for Kendrick Lamar, he is only going to look greater and greater than ever for truly standing as an authentic voice in an era where the biggest artists are literally lies. And so now with all this said, let me know. What do you think about this latest run-in between Drake and Kendrick Lamar and their streaming numbers and what's on the line for both of them? Now this is going to end up...
No, we had a whistleblower to come out and let us know that that Drake was doing them botting them streams and all of that stuff. But you don't hear no OV hoes, you don't hear academics, you don't hear nobody saying that, Kendrick Lamar numbers didn't budge after they audited them songs, after they audited them streams. I'm going to tell you who got hit. Cardi B got hit. Other artists got hit. I ain't got no list, but I remember Cardi B was one of them. When they did that audit to see who was buying their streams and all of that, Cardi B was one of them. Kendrick Lamar's stuff still stayed the same, bro. You can't fake influence, man. I'm telling you. Now they starting to get it. Now, y'all remember the sister we just reacted to, Kiki. She already broke it down. Bruh, we living in a bot generation, bro. We think we arguing with other people and stuff like that. People think they numbers is real. Them numbers is not real. Bro, the robots is here. I'm sorry to tell you. It ain't we got to wait a couple more years. Yeah, they getting the AI together. They here, bro. They are here. You know what I'm saying? It's just that they've been living amongst us for so a little bit of time, and we got used to them. We thinking that they're real people. It's not, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, bro. We already knew this about Drake, man. We already knew this, bro. They had this this pop star slash rapper slash Jafakin put together just to make money, kept milking it. It's done. It's over now, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Cash signing out. Going, y'all.